Welcome, everyone, to the 214th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream.
Wait, a drawing school stream? See, we spent like half an hour being a video game stream, then like a straight hour being a food stream, and we were just taking a hard right into an animal stream.
Look, I need a cooking stream right now. It's baking.
Cooking's an art. We're good. We got this covered.
I ran out of flour. I'm sorry, I can't make more cookies on a live stream.
Aww.
Oh,
Yeah, the flour's all out of stores. I blame
flat
people
bread.
making-
No, that's still flour. It's not. It's not.
Hopes and dreams sandwiched together on a frying pan.
I have a lot of recipes that don't use flour. They are not flatbread, but there's other ones.
So as you can
They
hear,
include a lot of sugar.
don't expect high hopes in this stream. But as you might have also heard, we have the ever lovely Aliclaw joining us.
Hello.
And there's a small mouse buried in the corner talking about sugar called Cute Pencil Case.
Hi, I'm in sugar withdrawal. Please send chocolate.
She will accept donations of chocolate scent. And there's a Fluffy's Eye raiding a trash bin somewhere.
No, I just devoured a chocolate bunny, so I've had my sugar fix.
You could have shared that with her.
So
But I
rude.
can't throw that
You
far.
just throw it over the sea.
I can't throw that far. I'm weak. I have like
You're
an 8
pretty
strength.
south. Just throw it out of the window.
I mean, it's true.
I mean, getting it from Nottingham to here, it's difficult, but from Southampton, it's doable. Especially
And
if you
of
just
course-
ate half a chocolate bunny.
No, I
No, just let the bunny hop there. It can move
Yeah.
on its own.
Yeah, just don't bite his legs.
Anyway,
We're doomed today.
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna take an hour.
It's gonna take more than an hour. Alright, let's start this off. First picture, top left-hand corner. This is by
I don't know
Nebula.
which way is left, but Ali's drawing here, so that must be it.
Which way is left?
Oh, CPC.
Is
I
it,
can't zoom.
is it backwards there? I know you guys drive on the wrong side of the street, but
No, it's not a Portuguese thing. I have dyslexia. Help.
I feel that.
okay.
I don't know if that's dyslexia, but okay.
Oh,
think
it
so.
totally is. It's totally a dyslexic thing.
Okay.
It was great when I was on
This is so
placement
pretty.
and we had two dyslexic people. She's always sat next to me and she gave me directions. It was amazing miscommunication.
They only ever got to their location once. The entire
We did.
Most of the time, they just went in a
Go in
circle.
circles a few times.
So, does anyone else
There's a few
weirdly
times
just...
we got there because she said right, and I thought right was left. She thought right was left. We both thought right was left, so we went in the right direction.
So does anyone else just weirdly want to just like bury themselves into these lovely soft wings? These
Hey,
wings
this
are so
picture-
pretty.
It's so fluffy.
Are we going to talk about the picture by Nebula
Yeah.
Space Cheeks, whose title is "Well, me like big pony or pony big wings."
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Speaking from the heart, there.
Oh, she has such pretty wingtail. I don't know what to do about this picture. It's just
It's-
too cute.
Like honestly,
The-
10 out of 10. I don't have any critique because this is like a really fun, loose,
I
messy
think
sketch.
maybe like the hoof. I think it ends here. Maybe go a bit
This-
further. I think that's it.
You know how there's
Yeah.
a thing with like, oh, the wings seem to be like big enough to lift these tiny horses. Or, like these wings, I think most of what they're going to be trying to lift is their own weight, and then
Yeah.
the pony's
like-
just like
she's
sandwiched in
like
the
a-
middle.
She's what's the name in English? I don't know. Swallow. Just like look at that
Mm.
cute tail.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
definitely an
the-
The
albatross.
tail looks like the size of like normal pony wings for a horse of its size.
Yeah. Keep up the awesome work. I 10 out of 10. I love the sketchy looseness of it.
I
Yeah,
Oh, I
want
didn't even
Right.
see
to.
there was another one underneath. That's also awesome.
Can you
That's
draw
what we're talking
these
about.
folded in how they would walk? Because I want to see how this is going to work for
Ooh.
them.
I want a
Yes.
baby foal with giant wings. She just falls on her wings.
It's part of the TV series.
Oh yeah, I remember. That's adorable. I need to go watch Cody's. Bye. Maybe that will fix my sugar problem.
No, but seriously,
It's sugar.
we love your wings. We love how messy and loose this is. It definitely seems like your idea was to get some ink down on paper to pump out ideas and see how it works. This is what we love to see. As we said, we don't have much critique on the shapes and forms because they are very loose, very unrefined at this point. But
Yeah,
that's fine.
basically you're experimenting, and that means you're doing the right thing, and so we don't have anything really to critique on that.
Totes my goats. Keep it up.
Wait,
Play
my
with
one
it.
critique is about asking for critique, and that is, if you would like critique, ask us questions. Like, what did you have trouble with? What do you want help with? Like, it's great to say you like big wings, but why are you posting to our server? Like, that kind of stuff. Why are you posting this picture for critique? It's good to ask yourself these
Yes.
kind of questions. That way we can help you better, and you can learn better, and we're all just kind of learning together.
And if you just wanted to share, then you can absolutely jump into our Discord and feel free to do that. The subreddit is more specifically about the whole critiquing process. So, yeah, like Ali said, if you have a specific question, then maybe we can give more specific help.
Yeah.
And it is important to make puns of names too. So saying "I like big wings and I cannot lie" would have been a very more appropriate one.
Yes.
Yes.
So how about this next picture?
Yeah.
We going sideways?
We're
Yeah,
going
let's
sideways.
go on.
I'm so happy when there's only one side to go to.
Now is sideways down?
Well, we all live on the Earth, which has the gravity facing the same direction. So no.
None of us is in Australia, so it works. No,
That-
wait.
That
Is
is
it one of
such
us
a
in
lewd
Pixie's not
name.
here.
Wow.
Is this something you don't want to read out?
I am not reading it out on the stream. It's
Can you
person
send
in
it
our
to us in
chat.
DM so we can know?
Go look in the Picarto. It's in our chat.
Oh.
Oh, I need to
Oh.
look at the Picard. Oh no.
Yeah, I forgot I haven't had that up, so I should get that open.
Oh
Good
no,
reminder.
there's so many tabs. This looks like Zai's computer right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, come at me.
Right, I'm keeping the stock wizard open because I need to know when to sell my turnips.
All right, so speaking of turnips, this picture is by magnificent Mr. T. Sleeping liar. Shh, she's sleeping. Always criticism welcome. No questions asked. All right. See that tangent? That made no sense? Awesome.
So my first big criticism, besides like awesome, this is a hard
which layer are you
pose.
drawing
Yes, critique can be positive. Don't forget that. This is a really hard pose that you took on, and I think you did pretty well with it. My one big thing I'd point out is just anatomy stuff. Yes, you can have horses long and thin, but they still I don't know. Do you think this is too long of a body? I mean, I guess you could definitely go.
I think it's right.
I think
The
it
legs
could
are a bit long.
work, but you need more of a arch on both
Yeah,
sides.
I think it's the fact that it's kind of just like a hot dog shape is what's throwing me off. You can have a long body, but there's still that like curve to the back and belly going on.
I'm just experimenting with the legs if this goes against what you were trying to do, Ali. You can feel free to draw over them.
Oh no. I just was doing the body. But yeah, if
I'm
you
not the
wanted
best
to
at
make it,
legs, so I don't know if this is actually the right pose or not.
if you wanted to improve the pose a bit, you'd have it more curved, a bean shape, have that back, going. Cause like if you're curled up sleeping, you little beanie body.
Ponies have those lovely curvy bean pods. They don't need to be a cylinder. Gotta get that lovely curve in. So and the other leg is the issue, so it's gonna be like here, I believe. Ish. So feel free to move your legs a little bit. Like don't have them always in exactly the same position as one another. Like even if they're laying like this, like think about when you're laying in bed. Like most of the time you're not going to be laying with like your arms and legs in the same pose. Especially if you're laying on your side, you're typically going to have your arms at 2 different angles, and your legs as well will probably be separated most of the time. So if you to sort of play around with some dynamic poses and look at how the legs are sort of laid down. I think Maze has sent a reference in the Picato chat. Let me have a look at this. From a different angle, but it certainly helps. It's
That horse looks so happy. I just want to give it a nice pet.
All right. I hope that makes a bit of sense. It doesn't seem like too much critique. It's more just little refinement, little playing here. See how it goes.
Yeah, just keep working on your anatomy, and I think it'll come together in no time.
All right, on to the next one then. Bum, 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 bum. Horse. Horse with mask.
mask with horse attached to it.
This is by Ozika TM. Most recent MLP drawing. 'Twas an OV request. What do you think? And then they say in the comments, OC.
Yes, we established that that was a type. We were wondering what that meant before the stream. Your eyes are so pretty. I love the bow. So pretty. An adorable pony. So I wonder if they mean like it was an OC request, like someone requested them to make an OC or help them with the design, or if it's like just draw my OC kind of request.
Not quite sure on that. You can tell it's by them because they've signed
Yeah,
their name.
yeah.
She does have legs for days. That is true. Long MC Escher legs, not a problem.
Now, whoever drew that, are you establishing the light source, or are you making a statement on the gender?
Oh, that was not. I did not realize that.
I know. I see what we're doing. It's fine.
I'm having enough trouble trying to like color pick.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important to. I think what CPC is doing there is very good. It is very important to establish the direction of your light and the source of it, so then you can help. It can help a lot because light, as you might imagine, the lighting of an object is very, very dependent on where the light is, the type of source that it's coming from, like where it is in relation to the subject, all that sort of stuff, will very heavily affect it. So you don't have to necessarily, if it's going to be too much for you at the moment, go down the rabbit hole of light and shadow tutorials and like schooling on how light and form works. But at the very least, just doing what CPC is doing and just
What
having
I
a look
find
at.
helps me a lot is, oh no, I might have been drawing in the sketch layer.
Oh no.
Of course. Of course, you horse.
I am blaming whoever didn't give silly names to the layers.
Yeah, like I was just thinking a minute ago, we have like a bunch of layers to draw on, and like why are they not just named for each of us and we have our own layer by this point? Because then we wouldn't like get in the wrong one.
That would mean I wouldn't. That would assume I wouldn't get lost. I would totally be drawing on someone else's layer.
I seem to have been the only one drawing on layer 4. Someone's going to steal that one. I can't. LD made them, so I can't rename them.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
No.
No. Disney will come after us.
Don't let us get flagged.
Dino isn't here. We can sing.
So you were saying something about the light and shadow before you realized you were drawing the wrong layer.
Oh, I find it helps me to first do cell shading and then soften that out and then do more shading on top of that. So
Yes. Yeah.
But if I start with the cell shading, I have a base with because what I struggle with is not making everything too soft, and that way I have a layer with strong shadows, and then I can soften from there, and that avoids everything being super blurry.
Yeah, I'd start. Usually I just do cell
Oh, that
shading
also works.
if I if I do cell shading at all. If I do shading at all, because I'm usually like these days I've become like quite scared of doing it. I usually just do cell shading, but like what I would typically do is
I think they fill up.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it
So
just
I fell
exploded.
into his plushy pile.
He fell
Oh,
into the
no.
hole.
He'll be lost for days.
it happens. I'll just talk and hold this thing for now. Um, I would cell shade and then use a blurring tool to like very carefully go through and just like blur like little bits where it softens. So like, because like the shape doesn't have like some parts will be like really round and wide and other parts will be like smaller. So like obviously the sharpness of the shade is gonna change, and then you have like other parts overlapping it and stuff. So I actually don't use the blur tool in Clip Studio. I use the paintbrush, the smooth watercolor paintbrush, and it has a really nice effect because
Yeah,
you can sort of
that's what
you
I
can sort of
used to.
yeah you can sort of paint at the same time as blurring, so it's great. So that's a pretty useful technique.
The other thing I do is that I don't go as light with the light, so I can do something more like a medium color,
Yeah.
and then you can put some bright highlights on top.
Yeah, and you can build it up and definitely allow yourself room. Like you've gone pretty light on this drawing. Like there's a very high contrast light here. There's not very high contrast shadow, but there is a very bright light on her. So like you could definitely do that and go for sort of more midtones and allow yourself more room for brighter highlights and things.
I almost wonder if there's two lights, because the reason why I put this guy over here, because I wasn't sure if the light was coming from that direction, because I'm looking at the shadow, and I
Yeah, that's
see.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this one made sense for me from the front of the pony, but that one also makes sense for me from
Like-
more on the back side.
Like the reasons why like parts like the tummy's being lit up like that, and like why this hair is so bright over here. So like I think it's a combination of two lights. And I think I just think if you're gonna go in for really two harsh lights, I wouldn't, unless the environment itself dictates to. I'd pick one light that's going to be your stronger light, and if you want to do two lights, pick a secondary light that won't be as strong, but it'll complement it in some way. So it won't be as bright as a light, but it won't be as shining, because you have very very shiny highlights. And I know CPC was talking about bringing them down a smidge, which can be absolutely nice. I personally agree with that as well. But the thing about a complementary light, like if the one CPC drew, this first one, this red one, if that was your main light and this purple one was your secondary light, you could go with a different color, like maybe, I don't know. Go
I
ahead.
normally go with the bright blue just because I like it.
Yeah, you could go with a bright blue, and that can be like, you can pick a warm blue. Yes, there are warm blues. Surprise. um you just kind of have it gently hit the body and like influence. Light's complicated, especially if you're getting into
Hmm.
secondary and tertiary lighting. So and I I don't quite want to go in depth about it right now because I'm not prepared to talk about it personally. But I would do some research into it and even just look at references that have two lights. There's like photography websites that let you position lights to see what two lights could look like on a person, and there's so much information about that out there. Just highly recommend googling about photography and other such things to get that secondary light knowledge.
Although normally when this happens to me is because I didn't pick the primary source right away, and then I just went random, just where I thought it looked right, and then I got to the end, and there's this kind of light coming from everywhere because I didn't pick a place right at the start. So having a
Oh, no.
little reminder, if it's just even if it's just a dot, can really help.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally to me, I just end up at some point. Sometimes I just end up picking a secondary light just because I noticed half the shading is done with a secondary light, and I just try to make it work. But if you start from the beginning with a clear idea of what you're looking for with your shadows, it can help in the long term.
Very much so.
Alright,
But
shall we move on to the
otherwise,
next one then?
yes, sir.
Sweet. I believe it's an Applejack. No, it isn't. I believed wrong. So this one is by Hex Hoax 800,000. Tried making an OC, drawing 1/3. Any suggestions what should be changed? I really liked the cutie marks incorporated with the like coloring on the pony. That's really cool.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, yes.
Oh, we're on here. I was trying to find where we'd gone, so I was like, yeah, I really like that as well. It's nice. My pony got some speckles too, but they're just like behind the keymark.
I don't have a pony at all. She has been retired.
No, she can at least sit in the back of your gallery.
Yeah, she's there somewhere. I just lost her, so.
So something I was drawing over here is just watch your leg widths. You have 2 leg widths going on. So if you want to do chunkier legs, try to stick with one, or if you want to do thinner legs, stick with the other. So I just did a little thing here in purple.
Yeah, that's very true. I hadn't noticed that. Yeah, I don't think there's much really that I can see to critique on this. I think you've got pretty good anatomy. Ah, no.
So
Draw
the
pile.
things I'm seeing is that I think the head is giving me the sense that I might be completely wrong, that you didn't draw the whole head, you just drew the hair. Because this line doesn't seem to connect anywhere over here.
Mm.
So it looks like it's all tilted forward to me. So just remind you to do the circle underneath and draw under the hair before you draw the hair. And the other thing I noticed was the mouth looks like the bottom part of the mouth has too much of a curve. So when she closes her mouth, it's like going into her mouth. So just straighten it out a bit. Or like curve the top one a bit more and straighten out the bottom a bit more.
Yeah. Otherwise, keep up the good work. Yeah. If you have any questions next time, please feel free to ask.
Alright, shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
This is the Applejack. This Applejack is done by one of these people. Aquatic Jazz Star. Still practicing my posing with Applejack.
Good. Okay.
I say, so this is really well done. This is a very active pose. I'm happy to see you're trying like to really push those kind of moving active poses. But I say, personally, if you're trying to work on posing, just do sketches. Sketches will be the best way to work on posing because you don't need to do full color in order to make a pose work. Posing is all about training and doing as much drawing as you can. So just work on your sketching, work on it in sketch phases, do multiple of the same poses next to each other, instead of fixing
Absolutely.
up the one, just like draw the pose 5 times next to each other, see if you start to understand it, using references and all that, and referencing your old ones and seeing what you could do to fix the older one and do better in the next iteration. So that would be my suggestion if you're working with poses right now.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can do more poses instead of lining and coloring as well.
Yeah, and sure, those things need practice too, but might as well save all that work and effort for the ones that you actually want to have finished. If it's just for an experimentation, let it just be an experimentation. You can do your anatomy studies, your pose studies, whichever.
Sorry,
Who is faxing things?
that was my watch telling me it was charged. Sorry.
Sound like a printer.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest sound. Anywho, horses. As always said, for people looking to keep going on their art, don't be afraid of using references. Make a nice collage of them, eat them, soak them up, drink them, turn them into a stew, and see what comes out. It's great.
You can devour other people's art.
Don't drink acrylic paints. They aren't good for you.
Yeah, only when it's digital art. If it's painted, you might get sick.
Yeah, no printing the art and eating it. The
how
hospitals have
else?
enough things on their hands.
Very true.
How else am I supposed to learn? It's my main source.
I got distracted because I always struggle with Applejack's hat, and I decided to draw an Applejack.
Shall we move
Hats
on to
are
the next
hard.
one then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just say the key things are hats are hard. If you were looking at what Q Pencil Case was drawing, basically draw the hat and draw what you can't see of the hat. She was drawing nice big circles behind the head to kind of get the idea of where the hat will sit. So that's a good thing to think about next time drawing the hat. Draw the whole.
The whole kit and caboodle. Alright, so on to the next AJ.
Oh, it is
Alright.
another one.
This is a really nice. I like the motion line going on. This is really nice.
Let's just all use purple in this drawing.
This is
Jesus, and
by
I've been using purple the whole time.
Anonymous Pony
I've
Guy.
been using the whole rainbow.
Taste the rainbow. How'd you like them apples? Inspired heavily by World War II nose art on bombers in the U.S. Air Corps. That's how the apples won the
Nose
war.
art?
Okay.
That was a fun song.
I really like how you did these back legs. They're really nice, I think.
Yeah, I like the back legs. This front leg looks a bit awkward. I think it should be curving in the other direction.
Mm-hmm. I see how you tried to keep to like the anatomy of a horse. But I think for the sake of this picture, because a horse obviously cannot pose like this, it's okay to break the arm a bit to make it feel more comfortable in the pose.
Some human arms. Sometimes it's fine.
Sometimes ponies behave more like humans than ponies. It's fine.
My rule is if they're doing a human thing, they have human shoulders. If they are, it's like quadruped, they have horse shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the way you draw this. You have a nice style going on. I do feel like looking at these front legs, especially after this lovely redrawing here. I feel like I love how the back legs look. They do look a little bit smaller in comparison. It's gonna have to turn off.
I did make them a bit thicker by accident.
Yeah, they I think they're fine for the original actually. So like it's more just CPC-ified.
Yeah, my legs are just thick.
I think you've done a good job. It's like you got a nice sort of like dynamic motion going on. You definitely like have taken into account like the like mane and tail fluttering. I did just sort of like pull the tail back a bit, just on the idea that it would like really be like pulling behind her because it's like this sort of like weight of rounded hair tied together. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be definitely like fluttering around as well, but I just was sort of doing what I could to sort of try
I
to
think I would make the mane a bit thicker here.
just further illustrate your lovely sort of like zooming through the air feel here.
And I just lowered the ear a little bit.
Also, why would you need to ride the bomb, pony? You're just gonna not be around anymore.
Well, if you're gonna be a
Just-
cool pony and walk away from explosions without looking at them, you have to be near the explosion.
True. You have to.
How can you
this
be
is
closer
a
than
bit too.
while riding the
Yes,
dog?
this is a bit too close. I said it's just a friendship bomb, and it's not gonna hurt any pony. It's just gonna spread friendship.
Yeah, I don't think that's how bombs work.
Or rainbows. It's gonna make
It's a
rainbows.
glitter bomb.
Yes. She can handle being glittery for a little bit.
Glitter ponies also don't look at glitter explosions, but that's mostly because they would be blinding.
Glitter explosions. Too many particle effects for your computer to render. Please don't look at it. The
Yeah,
game.
this is why the picture is still, the bomb is still intact. Because if it had already exploded, it would just crash our computers. We can't have that.
I love that the game just like, please don't look at this. It will. It takes too much hardware to render these things. Please just like look the other way. Can we trust you on this?
Alright, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I love your picture. Lovely posing, lovely motion.
This one is by Theotic Finch, and it is, I took all your advice, and this is what I came up with. I couldn't fix his ear because I currently don't have much time to draw or fix his ears, but I fixed the main things. And that's spelled M-A-I-N, not M-A-N-E.
This pony on the right looks so ready to go on a murder spree. They look so angry. Sorry, on the left. I'm doing CBC.
No, yes, left. I'm very confused. Don't make it worse. I wasn't even thinking about left and right now.
This pony
can't.
looks very angry.
Yeah.
They got some lovely expression work going on. I feel like
I
the pony.
cannot. Just this
I don't
one,
know.
yes.
The
Sorry,
ponies are like here, and then they're like leaning. The center of gravity is like off, like they're leaning to the side.
So Maze actually critiqued this person 2 days ago. Wait. Yes, 2 days ago about the backgrounds being too dark. So they've increased the contrast on the background so we can actually see them. And they fixed the hooves a bit. Just looking at the original posting and comparing it. We've done a bit of cleanup too. I do like the contrast you've given to the background compared to what it originally was. It's looking a lot better. The value difference between the characters and the walls and the background makes a lot more sense now. They all seem to be pretty well lit.
The only thing I'd say is be careful of how much white you're using. It feels like you're using a very white light, but this doesn't seem like a cause. Like I see a lot of orange and glows, like up
Seems
top
more like
here.
a torchlit situation.
Yeah, very orangey, and again the red walls. They're very dark red brown, but you know there's red there. So I would maybe instead of lighting with a white color, choose a more orange to red zone kind of highlighting color to bring like a warm tone, because especially with gray and black ponies, white can wash them out. Yes, in very very like high sun intensity, like bright white lights, black can look almost white with a white shine on it. But in this case, I don't think they're out in the middle of a bright sunshiny day, so I would kind of move away from like white tones of shading.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not sure. Like I was looking down at the second half underneath. Like I'm not sure like what's going on in the context of this. Like obviously it seems like a story kind of thing going on. And 'cause in the top one, like I said, the pony on the left seems very, very angry. But on the right, like to me, the expression read almost in sort of like a happyish sort of way. Like they're just sort of like they always seem like sort of like a brother sort of like adjusting the like clothes of their younger sibling, even though it's obviously like a harness. They didn't seem to be coming across as being very like authoritative in that top version, and then the bottom one there, obviously like a fight's breaking out. They also seem the pony on the right now seems very kind of like they don't seem surprised at all. They look very plain. So yeah, I'm struggling reading if it like I know there's obviously like text, but a picture should be able to tell its story without that. And like I'm not saying you can't have text at all, but the readability of this image in terms of the story being presented by the image itself is a little bit confusing in terms of expression work and what's happening in the scenes. It's just a matter of just like look at comics, particularly they're very good. Like you can look at cartoons as well and just look at all the different like expression work and faces and like even like body language and poses and whatnot and how they like look at any lovely like Disney or Don Bluth or something cartoon, just all the beautiful animation and how they like show what a character's doing in like their pose as well as in their faces.
And as a more nitpicky thing with the mains, I wouldn't do such short and frequent spikes. If you want to emphasize long hair, think of it more as in clumps. Like I did quick here with this guy. I'll do one of the top ones as well. This is really hard hair to do, but think of it as coming forth from the head like hair does. You can even think of it in like strands coming. You can have nice big, and this kind of emphasizes that it's long hair. You can even have a little poke there. But yeah, anything else?
Nothing else I have. CPC is doing a wonderful job. Does it CPC did the face there? I can see Ali's drawing over the body and mane.
I did some expression-y things.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe the eye wouldn't be as big and as exaggerated because it's a more
That's just your
realistic
style.
style. But just to have an idea, just make the eye smaller because he looks very relaxed.
In the original one, yeah. That's what I was
But if you make
saying.
the mouth a bit bigger and the mouth a bit and the eye a bit, the pupil small, it will look like he's surprised and the eye bigger.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's sad. I don't know. 'Cause it looks like they were friends before, from what I'm reading.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the context is going on here. I was going to say undo your erasing so we can see it again. Yeah. You can just get back in the video.
Yeah. Or maybe I can control Z enough. No, I can't.
Oh.
I'm just going to control forward. That also doesn't work. Well,
Draw a file. You get the idea.
Horse legs are so bumpy.
what I would advise on the top part is either, because I do like that they are walking parallel, so maybe change your perspective to, instead of being in the middle where it is now, to come a bit more sideways, so more like this, and have the corridor more like this, so it matches the ponies. In this case, I think I would change the background and not the ponies, or in this case, you'd have this happening because of their positions. I just find it more difficult to make it look like they're walking side by side, but I was doing some tests on the side.
Come to think of it, I would even maybe if you want to emphasize how they're looking at each other, I would just make that a headshot, like maybe a neck up or a bust up.
Yeah.
You don't need to show them walking forward. You can see they do it a lot in comics. It's very boring to see two characters walking side by side together. It's not filled with action. It doesn't have anything like your second panel is full of action. It's good to see the full body. But in this case for a comic, next time, or if you come to another portion where it's just two characters walking together, sometimes you just want to have the focus on the face. You want to absorb their, read their
Yeah.
faces, see how they're talking together, see, how they're reacting to each other.
Yeah, that way you can put
Yeah.
more time in the faces and the expressions.
Mm-hmm. All right. I
Shall
say
move
we
on to
can
the
move
next one?
on. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Q.
I'm gonna change colors because yellow is very obnoxious. But I couldn't find anything else that worked everywhere in the picture. In the
Yeah, it's
previous
very
one,
hard
'cause
to
it's
have
like
one.
it's light and dark and light and dark.
Yeah, it's very hard to find the right color sometimes.
This is by Fire Rex UK 77. Not necessarily an OC, but this is what I drew.
Doesn't need to be an OC.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need to be a pony half the times. At least in the Discord.
Yeah. We encourage all forms of drawing.
Just
I mean,
draw.
first of all, I'll say awesome that you're drawing. We love to see people getting started, learning, experimenting. So, yeah, kudos to that.
I'm just going along with this pose that CPC is doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. Don't follow me.
I'd
But I
say
follow you on all your art sites and social media.
You haven't found all of them yet.
Are you sure?
I know I have an account you don't follow, but it's not art. It's Animal Crossing. You'll have to find it.
We'll stop CPC on every post.
Go on a treasure hunt.
Obviously, CPC style is very chibi, but I think in this case, given your proportions, I think it's not too far off from what you had originally anyway.
So I think something to
It's a
focus
little
on
Yep, got it, cheeky.
would be possibly getting more into sketching. I'm looking at this here and it seems like you're kind of going right for the outline. I see some things like here where you got the little knobbies for the bends and the joints, which is great.
Hmm.
Incorporate more of that. Have a little more of a under sketch going on. Like, see, I just drew a popsicle right here, right? It looks like a popsicle because you got, and it's like, hey, that popsicle, you draw, some crosses on it, maybe some additional popsicles on it. And, like sketching through basic shapes is a great way to start learning art. So I would say our sidebar on our subreddit have so many good resources, so many great tutorials that I highly, highly, highly recommend you taking some time and looking at, maybe drawing from. If you're really wanting to improve in art, if you really want to try to grasp the anatomy better, or just understand how to draw ponies better, or getting into drawing in general,
Absolutely.
I really recommend going and checking out that sidebar.
Yes,
Because this
yes.
might all be a little overwhelming seeing everyone draw all over your work. No one's really saying anything, so
Sorry.
it's okay.
It's
No,
like,
no.
there's a lot of things. I just don't know where. There's a few things I would recommend, like looking up guidelines and lines of action. I think would be a good start.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at this stage I might just start going off about anatomy and shading and all this, and it's not really the stage you're at. So I would say start with some guidelines.
Start with the basics.
And then once you feel like you're comfortable with guidelines and want to make your ponies a bit more dynamic. Just look into action lines.
Hmm.
And when in doubt, just practice drawing shapes. Like, you know, you get a circle, a square, and then you can start practicing 3D things like a box. You get fancier and fancier. That's not
Finally,
a
we've
good
advanced to the stage of draw box.
You have to draw the back of the box, Ali.
I forgot the back of the box. All right. There we go.
I haven't done
Box.
draw box. I need to do it eventually.
I know. But yeah, even practicing those basic shapes will help you get better at drawing. It's just going to be learning the shapes, learning how they fit into the anatomy, learning how just controlling your pencil, how to use it, how to feel loose with it instead of it seems like a lot of your lines, and I don't want to assume, I just wish we were here to talk to you, but it seems like you're kind of pressing down very hard and just kind of like getting the line down, where it's really beneficial to swoosh some strokes, and it may not be the right stroke every time, but it's fine. That's okay. Art's about correcting when you're learning. It's a little messy sometimes, and that's perfectly fine.
It's
So
also messy when you're not learning. Well,
yeah,
you're always learning.
it's always messy. I think once you accept that art is messy, you're gonna find yourself in a happier place. That's for sure. But yeah,
And
don't
then
be
there's programs where, like Drawpile, where it only looks nice if you swoosh, because there's no stabilization.
All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
yes, sir.
And this one is oh my gosh! It's our last one.
Hmm.
Now, who drew this
Oh
one?
no.
Too many tabs.
Lined paper. No.
This one is by Melody Breeze 1. Wait, did we do a Melody Breeze? I feel like we did a Melody Breeze. I might just be crazy. Anyway, Melody Breeze 1. Rarity then versus now, except when I was little I drew her as an alicorn, and it was the only picture I most likely drew of Rarity when I was little. Right, I remember why I thought that we've already done this one. Because we had the discussion about being old people. It's like, little, that was only 10 years ago. Oh, right. Some people might have actually been the correct age for watching this.
And I know the age of people on the internet.
Ooh.
Well, I might have been a people in the internet at 11. I shouldn't
Yeah.
be there, but I was.
We all were
Everyone.
that.
Yes.
Being corrupted on Yahoo chat rooms.
Okay, there was no Yahoo when I was 11.
I just played Invu all day, okay?
There was a Yahoo, just I was not using it.
I'm just gonna flex my age here.
No, it was just Ask Jeeves.
When
CBC probably doesn't know what that is.
do you know SG? Is that CPC beer litmus test for young people?
What's
Ask
happening?
Jeeves.
Sorry.
Do you know what
I don't
Ask
know what
Jeeves
you're
is?
talking about. I have no idea. I am sharing this stream with a bunch of boomers. Please, someone help.
Anyway,
Huh.
one little like thing I have for you here. Not you, CPC.
Oh.
Is if you're gonna send us a thing to critique, it helps a lot if you try and take a picture from a more overhead angle. Just because Cuben's is there, like trying to draw at in like 3D space on your paper through time by using your photograph as a time gate, and like it helps us a lot to like help
I am drawing in 4 dimensions now.
it helps us to yes, exactly. It helps us to analyze like the placement of the body and like legs and like how everything lines up. Obviously, you've got like the line paper, so we can see the hooves. CPC's drawing here are lined up at least.
Well, I am trying.
Yes, it helps us to get everything sort of proportioned.
You're right there, Fluff.
Yeah, Bunny's coming back at me.
That pony's coming back to you.
The chocolate bunny I devoured.
That's the revenge for not giving me any.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the bunny. She was so pretty.
I haven't gotten any lint bunnies. Everyone knows lint bunnies are on purpose. They come to the store just for my birthday, and I haven't gotten any this year.
I have so much
Malteser
lint from the
bunnies.
dryer, I can happily mail that to you. I'll even make it into a bunny shape.
It means Lindor, which is exactly what I just ate before the stream.
I have so
the
many Lindor.
Malteser ones are the best, though.
I don't know if you can hear it, but
Dog.
oh no, it fell off. Come back, please.
Jingle stream.
Everything's cancelled. No more critique. We're doing jingle stream now.
And then sometimes food, sometimes video games, sometimes animals.
Lots of sugar.
Lots
sugar,
of sugar.
please. Please some
Drop
sugar.
out won't let me do anything. Okay. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what you've been drawing, CPZ?
Oh. So
Critique.
we're doing a thing, I remember. So the horn looked like it was coming a bit too high, and also wasn't coming. So your pony's completely sideways, and the horn comes from the center of the head. So it won't come much into the inside of the head, like yours is coming all the way here, all the way until here, and it's just a tiny bit, just because it's round, that will come in, but it's mostly just side. It will just be lined with the middle of the head. And then was just some. I made your muzzle a little bit shorter, and I lined up the legs, and I think that was about it. I can't see under my sketch, and I forgot what was underneath. Oh yes, I made your. I'm actually not sure. So this line is confusing me a bit here. Is your leg going like this? Because what I think I was looking at was the. So this is a problem with having lined notebooks. This line here is confusing me a lot, because I don't know if the leg is doing this or doing this. So that's one of the reasons to use flat paper, or to just press a bit harder with the pencil, so it doesn't look like the background lines. But what I was doing here was just making the leg a bit smoother, so it doesn't do this as much. And I think that's it.
The only thing I have to say is you had some of Rarity here. If I just quick erase the tail. So when Rarity's hair does this, it's not quite what her hair's doing. This block here is connected to the tail here. So the best way to think about Rarity's hair is that it's a ribbon. It's essentially just a really long ribbon that you can wrap around your finger, and that's the motion her hair is doing. Now, an easy way to break down that motion and make it 2D is like folding paper. So what I have down here is just simple shapes, right? Just rectangles. Easy enough. So we can parse the where it curves simply by drawing, your first rectangle, and then you just directly connect because it's all connected. It's all one long ribbon. We're kind of folding and bending into the next rectangle, into the next, into the next. So using that idea, this can be a great base to follow. So obviously, I just have a little butt here, so we're just gonna have the hair just coming out of the butt. It's a really long one. Just bear with it, and it's gonna curve. She's gonna curve, and we're just gonna follow. Okay, let's see. This separates here. So we're gonna have a curve over, and it can make like a little triangle, a little curvy triangle. And we can correct it, make it a little more round, a little more flowy. Same here, have it flow into there. And then it comes out the bottom. And we're just following our rectangles, we're following that curve, making it flowy. Then it comes down and flows. We're making it curve here, so then it'll break there. And it'll curve into there. And then we have it again.
CPC, I wasn't drawing ghosts. No.
And this way, we can keep track of how the curls are going. We can keep track of how it's swishing. It's just that long ribbon. We're following our little blocks that we made, helping us, parse through the kind of 3D realm of a curve. And we get the swooshy at the end.
I had a little bit of experience with this sort of curliness before ponies from doing like anime characters that have this kind of hair curl that I've drawn up here, which CBC has turned into a long many-faced ghost wrapping up another ghost.
So I did my own how I do it up there, which
Yes.
is more of a I do a little spiral.
It's
Then
more
I do
relief
another
reading.
spiral. That matches it. It's just a bit lower. I did not do a good job. And I use that, so I connect this point here. I think mine is a bit more difficult. But this is how I think about it.
It makes
So
sense.
just use the one that makes sense to you and is the easiest to use, and then I connect the sides of the rectangles. And sometimes I change them a bit from the initial line just so because I'm not very good at making them parallel.
We've doodled like a million swirls all over this picture.
Rarity's hair is fun. It's hard,
Yes.
but it's fun. Once you kind of parse the idea of thinking in that 3D space of that curl,
Yeah.
I think it's really fun.
It was something I struggled with at first, and then somehow I think I've got the hang of it, and I've drawn a couple nice pictures of Rarity.
Oh yeah, what I do so they aren't too flat is that I go in disconnection bits.
Yes.
But I am not doing a good job with the eraser.
Yeah, that's actually something that you can use for like clothes and blankets and things like that. It's when you have something like this, like if this is a sleeve, you can sort of make it look
And then
thicker
I
by
don't
doing this.
fully connect them. I just go like
Yeah.
this. When did I click Control Z program? I did never click Control Z.
Don't you lie about my Control Z usage.
When I want to use Control Z, it's gone.
Or Control Z. I mean.
I'm only British in some things, and Z, definitely not. But tomatoes. No Z, but tomatoes.
You get to pick and choose.
Y'all are
Yes.
unique humans. All right. If anyone else has any art they'd like critiqued, any other questions they'd like to ask, please submit now because it looks like we're running out of steam and pictures.
There's muffins.
That's your
What?
friends?
This muffin is not right.
This muffins. Oh. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
a fluffy
drew
muffin.
a very bad muffin. I'm sorry.
Are your muffins fluffy? How long has your muffin been sitting behind a radiator?
I've never seen a muffin that looks like this. Well, I've never seen a thing called a muffin.
You've
What?
You've never seen a muffin?
I've seen muffins, but they look like they had what are they called? The dried grapes?
Raisins?
Yeah, I'm not eating a cake that
I mean-
has raisins.
This.
Oh, raisins?
Come on, raisins are delicious.
No,
They are
they're-
so nice. No,
you think
I mean
they're
like
they're chocolate chip, and then they're raisins.
most muffins I've seen that do have chocolate chips or like blueberries or something.
Oh, that's what they were. Oh, I should have bought one.
Well, on that bombshell, that that cube pencil case has never eaten a muffin in her life. We're gonna call it a day.
Well,
Thank you all for coming,
dry and they had raisins.
and we'll see you again next week. Maybe
Don't
we'll
be
force feed her a
disappointed.
muffin.
Bring chocolate
Yes.
next week, or a muffin if they're sweet. I'll also.
There are
accept that.
chocolate muffins.
I
Blueberry
will-
muffin.
Sounds good.